Hi, my name is Rhea,
And I am Freya.
and for today's video, I am going to discuss the conditionals in English grammar. And at the end of this video, you'll be able to learn what is conditional and know its four main kinds.
Plus mixed conditionals.
So without further ado, let's get started. To start with, let me give you a general overview of the conditional, and I'll be specific as we proceed to the lesson. In English, conditionals is a type of sentence that is made up of an if clause which pertains to a condition and the main clause that pertains to the result. So basically, a sentence is considered a conditional if it starts with if or when, and the if clause can be seen in the first or second part of the sentence. This sentence also describes a situation that might happen or might have happened. There are four main kinds of conditionals, namely zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. And each conditional has an if clause plus the main clause. Like I have said earlier, the if clause pertains to a condition or situation, and the main clause gives us a result. The zero and first conditionals gives a real and possible situation, while the second and third conditionals express unreal and impossible conditions and results. Zero conditional talks about general truths and general habits, and it is made up of an if clause plus two present simple verbs. First conditional talks about possible or likely things in the future and composed of if plus present simple, will plus infinitive. Second conditional talks about impossible things in the present or unlikely things in the future and composed of if plus past simple, would plus infinitive. And third conditional talks about things that didn't happen in the past and their imaginary results. It is composed of if plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. Now, as you look at these conditionals, I know that it is already a lot of information, but I can assure you that by the end of this lesson, you'll be more confident with these conditionals. So let's begin. Let's start with the zero conditional. Zero conditional sentences is composed with two present simple verbs, one in the if clause and one in the main clause. It talks about general truths and general habits. This conditional is used when the result will always happen. Let's take a look at these examples. If water reaches 100 degrees, it always boils. And it's a fact. I'm talking in general, not about one particular situation. The result of the if clause is always the main clause. If people eat too much, they get fat. If you touch a fire, you get burned. You get water if you mix hydrogen and oxygen. Snakes bite if they are scared. If babies are hungry, they cry. Next is the first conditional. The first conditional has the present simple after if, then the future simple in the other clause. It talks about possible or likely things in the future. It is used to talk about things which might happen in the future. Of course, we can't know what will happen in the future, but this describes possible things which could easily come true. Take a look at these examples. If it rains, I won't go to the park. If I study today, I'll go to the party tonight. If I have enough money, I'll buy some new shoes. She'll be late if the train is delayed. She'll miss the bus if she doesn't leave soon, and if I see her, I'll tell her. And take note of the difference between zero and first conditional. The zero conditional describes what happens in general, while the first conditional describes a particular situation. For example, if you sit in the sun, you get burned. Here I am talking about the burning is a natural consequence of the sitting. But if you sit in the sun, you'll get burned. Here I am talking about what will happen today, and another day might be different. Second conditional. The second conditional uses the past simple after if, then would, and the infinitive. It talks about impossible things in the present or unlikely things in the future. It has two uses. First, we can use it to talk about things in the future that are probably not going to be true. For example, if I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. I probably won't win the lottery. If I met BTS, I would say hello. She would travel all over the world if she were rich, and she would pass the exam if she ever studied. And these sentences talks about things that might happen in the future. And again, for the second conditional, it talks about impossible things in the present or unlikely things in the future. And the second use of the second conditional is it can talk about something in the present which is impossible because it is not true. For example, if I had his number, I would call him, but I don't have his number, so I couldn't call him. If I were you, I wouldn't go out with that man, but I am not you. And take note of the difference between second and first conditional. The second conditional sentence is different from the first conditional because this is a lot more unlikely. And the first conditional describes things that I think are likely to happen in the future, and the second conditional talks about things that I don't think will really happen. For example, if she studies harder, she'll pass the exam. I think she may study harder and so she'll pass. But in the second conditional, if she studied harder, she would pass the exam. I think that she won't study harder, or it's very unlikely and so she won't pass. And the last one is the third conditional. We make the third conditional by using the past perfect after if and then would have and the past participle in the second part of the sentence. It talks about things that didn't happen in the past and their imaginary results. It talks about the past. It used to describe a situation that didn't happen and to imagine the result of this situation. Take a look at these examples. If she had studied, she would have passed the exam. But really we know she didn't study, so she didn't pass. If I hadn't eaten so much, I wouldn't have felt sick. But I did eat a lot, and so I did feel sick. She wouldn't have been tired if she had gone to bed earlier. She would have become a teacher if she had gone to university. He wouldn't have been on time for the interview if he had left the house at 9. And that's it. We're done with the 4 main kinds of conditionals. Let us now have a short review about it. Again, there are 4 main kinds of conditionals. The first one is the zero conditional, which talks about general truths and general habits. First conditional that talks about possible or likely things in the future. Second conditional that talks impossible things in the present or unlikely things in the future. And third conditional talks about things that didn't happen in the past and their imaginary results. Now, let us compare the four main kinds of conditionals using these example sentences. In zero conditional, we have, if I study hard, I always pass my exams. While in first conditional, if I study hard, I always will pass my exams. In second conditional, we have, if I studied hard, I always would pass my exams. And in third conditional, if I had studied hard, I always would have passed my exams. See the difference? Good. Whew, that was a lot of information and a great discussion. And now, we're done with the conditionals and its four main kinds. Now, I challenge you to test yourself. Make your own sentence using any type of conditional. You can type your example sentence in the comment box below and I'll try to check it.
Hello sunshine, this is Freya, and for today's video, we will discuss about mixed conditional. Mixed conditionals are conditionals where the tense is the main clause indifferent from the tense in the conditional clause, also called if clause. This happen in the second and third conditionals and real conditionals. Mixed conditional include the examples of past condition of present result, past condition of future result, present condition of past result, present condition of future result, future condition of past result, future condition of present result. The present plus past mixed conditional express that there was a condition that could have been fulfilled in the past and that is bears a result in the present. The examples are, if I were you, I would have bought the red dress. If the teacher were here, she would have turned on the heater this morning. If the student had more time, they would finish their work yesterday. We use the present plus future mixed conditional to express a present condition. Example, something that hasn't changed from the past to describe why a certain past result didn't occur. The examples of present plus futures are, if I were you, I would call Tom and apologize. If Bob had more time, he would attend the cooking class next week. If Fred were here, he would go with us to Colorado on Thursday. The examples of future plus past are, if they weren't traveling to Paris on Thursday, they would have planned to attend your birthday party. If I weren't quitting my job in 2 weeks, I would have purchased you a gift for Christmas. If Don's sisters weren't going to the theater, they would agree to babysit. The examples of future plus present. If I were getting married tomorrow, I would be relaxing right now. If Jenny and Eric were going to be here for holidays, they would be making plans. If Dan were traveling with us to Boston in March, he would be saving money. The examples of past plus presents are, if I had studied in school, I would have a diploma now. If Nick had turned in his application, he would be working here now. If you had recorded the show last night, we could watch it. The examples of past plus futures are, if Rose had not called him, they wouldn't be going to the party together tomorrow. If Nathan and Lisa had finished their chores, they would receive their allowance tonight. If the television had not broken, we would watch the game this weekend. Note: you can switch the order of conditional clause if clause and the main clause. Use a comma after the conditional clause when it comes first. Do not use comma if the conditional clause comes second. And that's it for today's video.
And if you've learned from our today's video, please give this video a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my channel for you to be notified whenever I have uploaded a new video. Thanks for watching! See you in my next video. Bye!